Hello, this is your girl, the Pretty Plug, aka Jasmine Stith, with another episode on OTY TV entitled Visions from God, where I'm highlighting this week's entrepreneur, Christopher Butler-Day, not only a member of Kappa Alpha Psi, but founder of iDecide. I want you to check him out. He's one of the most authentic people that I've had the pleasure of interviewing, and just continue and remember to decide each and every day whether you want to be successful. Check it out. You know, it's popping, and he deciding, okay? Yeah. He deciding.
There you go.
How are you doing today, Christopher?
Man, I'm blessed.
Okay.
Blessed, man. Blessed to be here. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
This episode is going to be called Visions from God, and we have our very own B-Day, and
B-Day.
You know, he's here. So first off, tell me who you are and what are you studying?
So, for one, my name is Christopher Butler-Day. I'm a 23-year-old senior mass communications major from Houston, Texas.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
And did you always go to Prairie View? Did you transfer?
Well, actually, before I came to Prairie View, I attended Blinn College in Brenham, Texas. I spent 3 years there. It kind of took me a little minute. I ended up graduating with my associate's degree from Blinn, and then I ended up just transferring here.
Okay.
Fall 2014.
Fall 2014. Did you meet anybody at Blinn? Like, did you have any challenges at Blinn? You said it took you a little while to get your associates. Like, talk to me about your overall Blinn experience.
Okay, so when I first entered Blinn, it was kind of hard for me to acclimate to the campus because there were a lot of different people from a lot of different cultures. So being that I came from a smaller area in Houston, Texas, when I got to Blinn, it was like, okay, how am I going to just being around so many different people that's not my race? So it was like, okay, what am I going to do? So I just started talking to people. Like, I went by myself. So I really just started talking to people, and then before you know it, I ended up meeting, you know, two older gentlemen who ended up being the best thing that happened to me because they were able to mold me into a distinguished gentleman that just kind of cultivated to who I am now.
Okay, who were those men, and like, what were the lessons that they taught you?
It was two of them. One of them name was Ernest Brown, and one of them was Marcus Young. And Marcus Young is actually a staff member here at Prairie View A&M University. And the biggest lesson that the both of them taught me was to stay humble, stay focused, and then just as a man, you always got to keep your appearance up. Because, like I said, being from a small town in a small area in Houston, it was always kind of hard for me to just realize that, okay, when you in the hood, you don't really have like the accessories of what it needs to be successful. So when I got to Blinn, they was like, you know what, let's retire the Jordans, let's get a suit. You know, let's retire the polos, let's get button downs. You know, let's keep ourselves up because your appearance is everything. And so from there, like, just off of something so small that I progressed, and I just kept it going.
Okay, so can you tell me what attracts the young African-American male to the Jordans versus the button-down suit? Like, why is that so popular, and why is the businessman, the entrepreneur, the man that will handle business, why is that not popular at a young age?
For one, it starts with the area. You know, when you're in the hood, a lot of people don't have those kind of role models. Their role models are the ones who wear the Jordans and who wear all of these different, you know, name brand clothes. It's rare that you would just see somebody that says, hey, you know what, let's go get a suit. You know, every time a holiday come out and the new Jordans come out, people are in line. So if that's all you know, that's what you're going to gravitate to. You know, especially if you're coming from an area where that's what everybody does. You know, so those business people, those are the ones you find out about later on in life rather than, you know, your youth.
Okay, so do you have brothers and sisters? Did you grow up with a dad in your home? Like, I just want to know, because I feel like all of our life's journeys impact us to the person that we are today. So just give me a background of like your home life.
Right, so for one, my father was in my life. You know, I would always give him that he was there.
Yeah.
But I actually grew up in the household with my mother. You know, I'm the oldest of 3. I have a little brother and I have 2 sisters.
Yeah.
So with that, even though my father did not stay in the same household with me, I still watched him. I still watched how he maneuvered.
Yeah.
My father actually, he started his own clothing business called Multifacet.
Okay.
And yeah, that was something that I looked up to at a young age, you know. So when it came down to, oh, I want to be a young entrepreneur, it came from that foundation right there of us. We used to drive through Houston selling T-shirts, you know. So it was at that moment, you know, I was like, this is what I want to do. But my foundation came from my household with my mother, you know, being a single parent and her, you know, running the family off of one check. And I was like, you know what? I have to do something for myself that's going to, you know, take care of my family in the future.
And you talked about your little brother. He saved money just to buy a hat.
Exactly,
like, how
right.
did that make you feel?
That was a jaw-dropping moment. I could just recall coming home and my little brother, he giving me $10. And I was like, what is this? He was like, this is for a hat. And I was like, nah, like, you don't have to pay for that. Like, it's fine. He was like, no, like, I want to be able to support you just like everybody else. Like, I want to be able to have that same, like, effect of saying, I supported my big brother instead of saying, oh, my big brother just gave me this, you know. My little brother just called me last week and say, hey, I wear your hat to school and my friends like it and they want to do the same. So it's like, when you have the youth, you know, saying that, man, I like that, it makes you want to continue to strive and do better.
Okay, and I also want to, like, put a plug here. Whenever we have Black entrepreneurs and Black businesses, just because we're Black doesn't mean we should just get things for free or that we should get things on a discount. We should financially support one another.
Right.
That's the way our economics grow. That's the way our communities grow, by financially supporting people. But I really want to go into, what is iDecide? Like, it's on your hat. You got brand of clothes, wristbands. Like, that's the message you're sending. But, like, dive into what it means to decide.
Okay, so iDecide was something that started at the park. I know many people have seen it on my Instagram, and it's a quote that says, it all started at the park.
Yeah.
And a lot of people say, hey, Butler, what does that mean? So when I say iDecide is something that's saying, I within want to make a decision to say, either I'm going to be successful or I'm going to fail.
Yeah.
iDecide is something that symbolizes, am I going to help the community or am I going to be a self-centered person? You know, the decision is yours.
Yes.
The vision came from, there was a time where nothing in my life was going right. Nothing. You know, it seemed like everything that I did was just, like, it wasn't working into my favor. So I said, you know what? Maybe if I do something that I can call my own, then it wouldn't be as bad. So I pitched the idea to a couple of friends. I said, hey, if I started my own hats with the purpose, a meaningful vision behind it, would you all support me? They was like, yeah, most definitely. Just, you know, what would it be? I said, I really don't know yet, but I know that I want to do something that's going to be very fashionable, but I'm also going to make an impact on somebody's life. So I always kept that in the back of my mind. At the time, I wasn't financially able to say, okay, this is what I want to do. This is what I'm going to invest in my money. It was something like, okay, I'm going to let you know, but in the back of my mind, I'm going to keep that. You know, I'm going to devote 2-3 hours to saying, okay, let me work on a vision. Let me work on my brand. And then over time and over saving money, it just, you know, I was just able to make it happen.
How did you fund your business? Because with a business, guys, you do have to have money. You can't just run a business off of an idea. You have to put it into plan. Right.
So, excuse me. There was a time where, you know, I was in a relationship. I was in a relationship. So it was like, you know what? Okay, if I'm gonna be in a relationship, I need to learn how to manage money. So with the job that I had at that time, I would always put a certain amount of money to the side, you know, just in my savings, just to say, okay, if I need something, if the young lady, if she needed something, I would have it there. You know, unfortunately, the relationship didn't, you know, last like it, you know, like I expected it to. So the first thing I said, okay, I have this amount of money. What am I gonna do? Am I gonna blow it, buy shoes, clothes, or whatever, or am I gonna reinvest in myself and follow out my vision? So the money that I had in my savings, I just put that towards everything that I wanted to do, and I expanded with that.
Okay. So, you do bring up a relationship, and this is just like going off a tangent, but how would you balance, if you were in a relationship, like balance being an entrepreneur with iDecide and like balancing your dreams and being in a relationship, because relationships do take a lot of time.
It does.
And how would you, I guess, do things differently financially?
Well, now that I'm actually in a position to where I'm working for myself, I know how to manage my money way better.
Yeah.
So I know that, okay, if I sell this many hats and this many shirts and this many wristbands, I know how much I need to put to the side for my personal self. And with that amount being to the side, that's how I will be able to balance out, financially, with being in a relationship. Also, if I were in a relationship, this is a 24-hour job. There's been times where I haven't went to sleep, just because my mind is always wondering. So, with the young lady coming into, my circle and what I'm trying to do with myself, support, everybody needs support. So I'd be looking for, someone to be very supportive of, what I'm trying to do with myself, as well as support her, because, if you don't support her, then, how are you planning to grow, as one?
And that's so true. I want to go back into the point where you said it started at the park. What happened at the park?
Well, actually, just like I said, we were just going to the park, myself and some friends of mine. We were just going to the park, take a run, just to get out the house, just to get out the house and do something. And then, every time you go to the park, there's always a time where you're like, man, I'm tired. Let's just sit down, then us just sitting down, taking a break, turned into us having a full conversation. And then, you start talking about life. You start talking about, okay, what I want to do within the next 10 years, 5 years, whatever. And then I just throw it out there, man. I see people like Nicholas Free. I've seen people like Isaiah Flanagan. I've seen people like Christopher Garcia. I've seen these people start their own business. Like, I've seen it. So I was like, man, I want to do that. Like, these are the people who impacted somebody's life. So I just threw it out there. Hey, if I do that, like, would you support me? Would you be part of my team? And they was like, yeah. And it just went from there.
Okay, and I want to tell everybody, if you and your friends are not talking about what are we doing in the next 5 to 10 years to 20 years, you don't have a good friend circle.
You don't.
If y'all just playing around, just going day by day, aimlessly, not living life with purpose, you are really like setting yourself up for failure, because you're wasting a lot of time. And God gives us 24 hours in a day.
24 hours.
You have to choose those hours. You got the same amount of time as Oprah Winfrey, as Bill Gates, as Steve Jobs once had. But once your life is over, what will you be remembered by?
Exactly.
And I want to ask you, what do you want to be remembered by?
Man, what I want to be remembered by when I die, and what I want to be remembered by now, is the person who've always respected other individuals.
Yeah.
Every day, like you said, you have a 24-hour day, every day. Every single day, especially since I've been at Prairie View, I make it a priority to compliment 10 people.
Wow.
10 people that I've never met, never talked to before. I compliment them, introduce myself. Hey, how are you doing? Because you never know who that person may be within the next 20 years. That person might be the next millionaire. I might be in a position where I have to get interviewed by them, and they're going to remember, hey, you were that guy, that came up to me. You'll be surprised what people remember. So whether I'm here or whether I'm gone, I would want to be remembered for being that guy that was humble to people, that guy that showed other people support, because I would want people to do the same for me.
And would you say that positivity is just floating around, or like you have to make a choice every day to be positive, to give 10 compliments to people? I feel like negativity is everywhere, but is positive energy just here in this universe?
It's not. It's not. For one, to believe it or not, a lot of people, they feel uncomfortable when things are going right in their life. Some people only know negative vibes. People live off of that. People wake up what am I gonna do that's gonna hurt somebody today?
Yeah.
There's not many people out here that says, okay, whose life am I gonna impact? You know, whose life can I change today?
Yeah.
That's I decide. When I wake up, whose life am I gonna touch?
Yeah.
You know, somebody could be on the verge of, you know, committing suicide, in a position where they can lose a home, anything.
Yeah.
And you can literally be that person to say, okay, I'm gonna be here for you. I'm gonna walk this faith with you, and we're gonna get through this.
Yes. And on that point, I got 2 questions. What does walk by faith mean to you, and what would you tell your younger B-Day? What would you tell him, you know, that's in the hood, just chilling, getting his J's? What would you tell him to do differently? And and what does walk by faith mean to you?
Walking by faith, man, that's staying focused. You staying focused and staying prayed up. You know, faith without work is dead.
It is.
Every morning I get up, before I go to sleep, I pray. You know, you have it. The first thing you have to do is thank the Lord. You have to.
You got to.
You know, because for one, He's giving you the opportunity to even wake up.
Yeah.
So you have to give Him that much credit throughout the day. Just look up and thank you. You know, because especially when you're in the process of you having your own business, you have people that really support you. You have people that want to follow your movement. That's nothing but God Himself.
Yeah.
So why not be thankful? If I had to tell
Your younger B-Day self, like in the hood, he got his J's on, he got his polo or FUBU. We don't know what you was wearing back in the day.
Yeah,
What would you
I was
tell
wearing
him?
all of that.
You was wearing all of that?
Rockaware, everything.
Okay.
To keep going. To keep going. I've always knew what I wanted to do. Always. Like the person that I am now,
Yeah.
I was the same person 10 years ago. You know, I can remember telling my mom, hey, look, I had a stack of money. She like, boy, where you get this much money from? The lunch money you gave me.
Oh, and you were saving it.
Just saving it because I love money. You know, but not only did I just have the money, I would give it to somebody. Like, I remember I used to sell candy out of our apartment complex. Like, people used to really come to the house during the summertime.
You get some candy.
Candy, Cool Cups, chips, everything. Like, I always found a way to have some kind of money. So if I was to reach back, it would just say, man, keep doing what you're doing.
Keep going.
Keep going. It's going to pay off.
So, you know, what's life after you graduate? Because I believe that we're graduating May 13th at 9 a.m. or is it 1 p.m. for you? Okay, 9 a.m. We cross the stage at the same time. But, like, what's happening after you graduate and what's next for iDecide?
So I'm actually a part of the National Association of Black Journalists.
Okay.
So yeah, I love to write. Writing is something that I've always been good at.
Okay.
So I was actually the National Association of Black Journalists president. Him and myself, we've been kind of conversing, and you know, he's given me an opportunity to come out there to Washington D.C. and mentor me and give me an internship, and we just gonna continue to move from there.
So you going to D.C.?
Yeah, I'll be in D.C.
Okay, so that means everybody that's following, everybody that's watching this right now, link up with him. You on LinkedIn, Facebook,
everything.
He on everything. And definitely is, you know, I believe it's like Chocolate City.
Yeah.
When you go out to D.C., it's Chocolate City. Even though, you know, our president, Barack Obama, is not there, I feel like we still got some good people out there.
Right,
some
it
good
is.
people that want to decide to be successful.
It is.
And I just want to ask you, like, the final tip is, like, what would you tell other aspiring entrepreneurs? We know it's not easy to be an entrepreneur. Everybody don't believe. 1. 2, everybody don't financially support you. They think you're just supposed to hand them a hat or hand them a wristband just to be trending. But, like, what will you tell other aspiring entrepreneurs, not only here at Prairie View, but across the world?
Expect the worst. Expect the worst. When I started, I expected that everything was supposed to go smooth.
Yeah.
I said, you know what, I'm gonna do this. You know, people are gonna support me. This is gonna be big.
Yeah.
You're gonna go through things that makes you say, okay, do I really want to do this?
Yeah.
Like the challenges that you face starting your own business, a lot of people is not ready for it. So I tell them, hey, if this is what you want to do, just be able to know that you're going to have people that's going to criticize you. You're going to have people that's going to tell you, you know, things like your business is not going to be successful, but you have to keep going.
Gotta keep going.
It's like you got to have this tunnel vision to saying, okay, disregard with you saying my vision is bigger than your words.
Yeah,
so,
your mindset.
Right.
Yeah. But I think like this interview has gone really well. I want to say thank you.
Thank you
for coming here. Thank you for being on this show. And just remember, guys, this was just visions from God. He was just sitting in a park. I know that there are so many visions that are just alive here on this earth that people are just not tapping. Because
right.
one, they're not deciding, and two, they're scared. I'm just trying to help eliminate the fear because everybody has their own entrepreneur inside them.
You're right.
And that's a wrap.
Thank you. This is Christopher Butler-Day, aka B-Day Baby, and I'm the founder of iDecide, and you are watching On the Yard TV.